everyone, welcome to Kin 483, Statistics in Human Movement. I can tell you from previous semesters, everybody loves this class. That was a joke. Anyways, hopefully you get something good out of it. It is kind of a daunting class. We do cover a lot of material, but, it's a requirement, so put a smile on that face and let's have some fun with statistics. I just want to say a little bit about me. I'm a California native from the Central Valley, which is literally in the middle of nowhere. In the town I'm from, people don't usually know where it is. I moved to Long Beach about 6 years ago to pursue a BA in dance science, which was a really fun experience. And originally I started out as a dance major and then took a functional anatomy class and just fell in love with the science side of things. So from there I had this wild idea to pursue a master's in exercise science that I also did at Long Beach. Meanwhile, I worked under Dr. Wu with the motor control stuff. Sometime in there I also got Pilates certification. And now I am working on my PhD. So I'm actually in Massachusetts at UMass Amherst. So keep in mind I have a 3-hour time difference from you guys, which from last semester it wasn't too bad as far as response times for students because I'm a night owl. So it kind of worked out. But if you do notice that you get an email from me and it says it's at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, just know that that's 7 or 8 o'clock my time on the East Coast. School involvement wise, this is the start of my 3rd year teaching for Long Beach in the kin department. I also taught in the dance department for a year before I moved out to Massachusetts, but I've gotten to teach quite a few courses, and this semester I'm teaching Kin 483, this class, for the 4th time, and I get to teach 315, which is motor development, for the 2nd time, so that's pretty cool. As far as interest goes, I love cats. They will insert themselves into memes and GIFs in various lectures, but also you guys will get to see my cats. They made several appearances last semester, which was always entertaining for students. I also love Harry Potter, horoscopes. I danced for 16 years, which is really cool. I also love to bowl, which kind of sucks because COVID has not allowed me to do that. I also used to speed skate growing up, so coordination. And then I like the outdoors, hiking, but I also like to stay inside and do all the streaming and chilling. Lastly, I love music festivals and raves, which you'll probably get from my personality. Also, I feel like mentioning that kind of makes it easier for you guys to approach me sometimes because I'm a love everybody, super understanding person, so I'm not a monster. If you ask me questions, or I know how to sympathize with people, which I haven't always had the best experience with professors. So there's that. But just so you know, because it's fun to look at cats, these are my cats. So this one is Boo. He's usually sleeping. Sometimes he'll walk across the computer screen. And then this is Butter. She's our chunky princess. So I think she actually made the most appearances last semester. But just because I love cats does not mean I don't love dogs. So just because dogs are fun to look at as well, these are 2 of my dogs that are still back in California, Theodore and Bartholomew, aka Theo and Barry. Both adorable. Okay, there's enough of that. I don't typically like to talk about myself, so it's always interesting to hear what I come up with when I record these videos. I do want to go over the syllabus really quickly. A lot of it you guys, you can read on your own. Most of it's pretty standard, but just to give you an idea of the resources that are available to you, as well as what to expect out of this semester. So all of my contact information is up here. Our office hours are virtual office hours. They will be held on a weekly basis on Mondays at 11:30. And all the times that are listed as far as your due dates and your meeting times are all going to be in Pacific Standard Time. So if you are operating out of a different time zone, similar to myself, I know several students that weren't necessarily my students, but I knew they were still attending school or in different time zones. My husband is still a student at Long Beach, and obviously he's in a different time zone as well. So, all of them are in PST, so you have a frame of reference for where the time is located. But we'll have virtual office hours. The links are in Beachboard. I kind of tell you where those are, and you can also see where they're located in the course navigation video. But this is where you get a chance to ask any questions with regards to class or assignments. If we're the only people in office hours at a given time, you can also ask about grades, or if you want to review an exam and ask why you got certain questions wrong. That's what office hours is for. Okay. Our meeting time and location, again, is going to be online. And this will be at 3 o'clock on Mondays. Now, I specified to the department that I wanted to have a given lecture time, but this is not a required meeting. So all the lectures are going to be recorded, and then usually I have, granted that there aren't any issues with YouTube and uploading to YouTube, I will post the night of. So I think this last semester, typically videos were up usually by about 8 or 9 o'clock, which is like 11 or 12 my time. So you should still have all of your lecture materials on Monday. But all of those will go, links will be posted in the content section for each given week, and then they'll also be in the media section as well if you like to watch your videos in the media section. So 2 things just in case. I know some students like to watch the YouTube videos like on a tablet or on their phone, and then they kind of follow along on their computer, so that's why I do them on YouTube. I feel like it's a little bit more friendly than the Kaltura capture that Beachboard offers. All activity videos will be completely asynchronous. So usually this is a lecture activity type course, and usually this is the one part I really miss about being in person, is like we would do activities together in a face-to-face class. But the way that things have worked, I've noticed students like the pre-recorded activity videos because they can pause and replay wherever they need to. I walk you through pretty much all the steps, at least at the beginning of the semester, and as we go through and you gain more skills, I kind of let you do your own thing and start applying yourself and applying different concepts that we learn in the lecture. As far as prerequisite coursework, you should have taken all of your core 300 classes. General course description and student learning outcomes you guys can read on your own. As far as course expectations or how much time you should be spending a week, it's pretty standard with the 3-unit course load. So I believe usually you say like for however many units, you're expected to spend about 3 hours outside of class time. So the way that I broke this down is our lecture is about 2 hours. More often than not, we will be within 1 hour and 1.5 hours. Some lectures are a little bit more dense. Sometimes I like to go through examples. So that time is a little bit flexible, but I usually do not like to go for a full 2 hours because attention span is a thing that likes to walk away sometimes. Activity videos are going to be about the same, so they'll be between an hour to an hour and a half long. I do put bookmarks or markers in the videos on YouTube, so that way when you click on the description area of the video, you can skip to different sections of the video. So that way you don't have to sit through like 30 minutes trying to find a certain part in the video. You can just do a quick shortcut. But it's easier that way. I don't have to upload so many links. But 2 hours for the activity, typically that'll be expanded. So you guys will have quizzes throughout the week as well as completing the activity. So typically in the beginning of semester, I walk you through the activity so you can finish it in about 2 hours normally, maybe 3 if you are pausing and repeating things a lot. Towards the end of the semester, the videos can be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes long, and then your 2 hours to 3 hours is spent actually doing the activity. So that's kind of like how the breakdown of the course will go. And then we have textbooks and software. The most important thing you need for this class is the software. And good news is it's all free. Unless you don't have Microsoft programs, those are available for purchase through your software depot on your single sign-on user home. Textbooks, I know some students like to read them for supplemental purposes. They are not required for this class because students don't have money, and I get that. And I don't know, I figure like if I can put out the money and save you guys the expense, then I would rather do that. So I think the bookstore wanted to put the 5th edition, but honestly the 4th edition is fine if you decide to buy any of the books, just because those are what the lectures are based off of. If you are interested in buying books, I don't mean to take business away from the campus bookstore, but cheapesttextbooks.com is my go-to. You can find books that are typically, like $60, sometimes for $4, and it's really awesome. They also have buyback and rental options as well, so that's one thing that I use for my school stuff, at least. As far as computer access, you do need reliable access to a working computer as well as internet, because this class is all online and you need to be able to access your materials. So we'll be using Microsoft Excel pretty heavily, so make sure you have that downloaded. We also will be working with SPSS Statistics by IBM. So I've included some links down here on where you can upload these. Everybody has the 365 Office programs for free through their student user account. However, there are some limitations in Excel with this particular free version. So I don't recommend using that free version to complete your assignments. I also don't recommend using Google Sheets just because I don't give examples with Google Sheets, and I know there are a lot of differences. So if you don't have Excel, you can purchase it. If not, you can find ways around things, but it'll just make your life a little bit difficult. In terms of SPSS, I have version 25 installed on my computer. I think versions go up to version 27 currently. They're available for download for both Windows and Mac. Traditionally, some people have had issues downloading SPSS. Either you have to try multiple times, or SPSS will work for a week and then it decides to die and be dumb, which has happened to me several times, but version 25 I feel like has been the most consistent on my computer, and I use a MacBook Air, so if you're a Mac user, typically SPSS won't give you problems. If you're a PC user, typically it won't give you problems. If you have a Chromebook or a Surface Pro, I haven't heard many people who have had problems with the Surface Pro, but I do know Chromebooks they're not compatible with SPSS. So if for some reason you have issues downloading, you still have a backup where you can use the virtual lab. So this, I'll show a video on how to access this and how you open everything, but if you don't have Excel and you can't access or download SPSS, the virtual lab is basically a campus desktop that you can pull up on your computer screen, which is really, really convenient. Sometimes it has a tendency to run slow, but for the most part, I haven't heard many complaints from students on this. The only issue with this comes in and when you save your content, you have to email yourself through the student or through the virtual lab so that you can still access your materials on your own computer. As far as grading criteria and the point distribution, it's a pretty common scale for grades. I do round up on cusp grades. So technically, if you have an 89.5, that's considered an A. 79.5 would be a B. I've been on that cusp before where I had like an 89.3 in a class, and you know, it was like, I just want the A. It amounted to about less than half a point on my final, so I was really bummed about that. But if you have a 0.5 or higher, I'll round you up. I do offer extra credit, so hopefully that will take care of those 0.3 situations. Grades are distributed based on 3 different categories. We have exams, quizzes, and activities. There will be 4 exams offered over the course of this semester. And the breakdown as far as content on those exams is in the course schedule. The 4th exam, whatever that may be, is optional. So you get to drop your lowest test score. And usually people aim to do as well as they can on the first 3 exams, and then they drop the final. The final is cumulative, and that's mostly the reason why they don't want to take the final. So if you take your midterms, everything stays kind of current. But if you do poorly on an exam or you have to miss an exam and aren't able to make it up for some reason, you still have the final exam as a backup. I also do this because test anxiety is a real thing. And online test anxiety, I don't know how that compares to in-person test anxiety. So we have a little bit of wiggle room with respect to that. You'll notice that exams are only 30% of your grade. I believe your weekly activities should account for the majority of your grade. So weekly activities and quizzes will make up 70%. Quizzes, again, people get anxious when they take tests, so that's a little bit lower. For each quiz, you'll have 2 attempts to complete the quiz. I usually keep it at like 2 hours so you can consult your notes as much as you want to. And it should be pretty easy. You have a week to take the quiz, and each quiz will be on the weekly content that's lectured on. Same thing with activities. You have a week to complete them. I do have an addendum because sometimes activities take a little bit longer than expected, or if you have SPSS issues, there's a 24-hour grace period. However, if you do turn in your activities after up to 24 hours after the due date that's listed on the syllabus, as well as the checklist, as well as each weekly contents checklist. There's a lot of due dates posted everywhere, so you should never not know when something is due. But if you do happen to have to post something or submit up to 24 hours after the due date, you just get marked down 10%. So that means if you still got 100% on the activity, you can still get an A. Okay? So don't forget that. Some people forgot that this last semester, and I was like, yo, you still could have turned it in late and got a good grade. You know, like some points are better than no points. Extra credit, like I mentioned, will be offered. These will be in the form of exam review quizzes. So when we go over the course schedule, basically I do live exam reviews that go through a series of questions that will kind of help prepare you for what will be on the exam. And then I will take 10 random questions or concepts from that review and then stick them in a quiz. And same thing as weekly quizzes, you get 2 attempts on them. Each quiz amounts to up to 1% extra credit. So I know for several students, this semester really helped them if they were a cusper and they just needed a little extra bump to get to the next grade. Okay. Other policies and information, I'll let you guys read all of this on your own. It's our non-discrimination, accessibility, accommodation. If you are with the BMAC Center, please let me know like as soon as possible. I want to be able to accommodate you guys in the best way that I can, but I can't accommodate if I don't know what the problems are, right? So if you need to use BMAC Center, please let me know and we can make our accommodations for your testing. If you need extra time on quizzes, if you need a little bit of extra time to turn in assignments, that's all fine and dandy. I'm happy to be on your side for that, but I need to know before the start of this semester so that we can take care of everything. Plagiarism and cheating, please don't do it. I don't mind if you guys work on class activities together, having that sense of camaraderie and knowing that someone else is struggling with you is super helpful sometimes, but also you guys are your best resources, if you're learning together, I personally think the best way to learn is by teaching somebody else. So if you can help teach each other using kind of the base or foundation that I give you guys in lectures, that's fine. Just please don't copy each other's work. Please don't turn in identical activities. I do recognize those. I caught a couple people last semester, so just make sure your work is original. As far as our attendance, again, if you need to miss an exam or a quiz or something, these are the 5 reasons that you have to allow you to make up any missed work. But you need to let me know within 24 hours, either before or after whatever your absence is for. Okay. For the withdrawal policy, it's kind of outlined in here, what the limits to withdraw are. If you have a preferred gender pronoun, this is an inclusive class, so I would like to address you as you wish to be addressed. That is your identity, and personally, I believe you should be addressed as your identity matches you. So let me know, because I don't want to make any assumptions, and I definitely don't want to offend anybody. Classroom expectations. I have a netiquette addendum. Basically, for Zoom meetings, just make sure you are muted. I like to see faces when we are in class. I think everybody except 1 or 2 people last semester kept their videos off, which is okay. It just is sometimes awkward. But feel free to speak up. I have participant actions, so that's one way you can participate in lectures, and also utilizing the chat is a good way that I can kind of track to see if you have questions or not. So there's just little things to keep in mind. Here are some important semester dates and deadlines for if you need to drop the class, if you're going to withdraw, or things sometimes that need my signature as well as the department chair's signature as well as the dean's signature. These are just things to keep in mind if the semester doesn't work out the way that you hoped it would. Hopefully everybody's kind of in gear from how the fall semester ran, but these are unprecedented times. Stuff happens. Seasonal depression is a real thing. So if you're struggling, it's okay. Just let me know and we'll figure out how to take care of you the best. Okay. Here are some links for student resources. These are kind of more IT or tech related resources, and then these are campus related resources. So if you have housing or food insecurity due to COVID, maybe you are out of work. We also have student health services if you need to get tested, or I think they're still offering COVID testing there, but you guys still pay a health fee, which I kind of think is dumb, but I have no say in that. I'm rambling now, but we also have BMAC, right, a learning center, writing center. If you are struggling with any mental health problems right now, CAPS is available. I can't counsel you guys, although I'm always here to talk if you need somebody to talk to. I ended up actually creating a nice rapport with several students this last semester if they were struggling. So, I mean, I suffer from seasonal depression and I have high functioning anxiety, which the two put together can sometimes create a vicious cycle. So, I can relate to those problems, and I'm always happy to offer, a shoulder to cry on, virtual shoulder to cry on, or if you just need somebody to talk to. And if you want more professional services, I can always help set that up with you. Okay, tentative course schedule. I rearranged the class for online learning last semester, and this is what I came up with. And as far as student feedback goes, everybody really liked the format. Relatively low stress. So basically, you have one topic every week. Sometimes we'll merge topics together if they work well together. So example would be correlation and regressions, or looking at different types of one-way ANOVAs. Those don't mean anything to you right now, but that's okay. All right, so each week you're going to have a topic. Monday is when we have our lecture. You have 1 week from Monday to complete your activity and your quiz on that lecture. I was finding this semester that most people save their activity to complete their activity and their quiz to complete Sunday or Monday, literally until it's due, which I love my procrastinators. I am one myself, but I find that this is not the greatest method for this class because some activities are longer than others. Some activities may take a lot more time than you're expecting, and I did have several students who ran out of time, so don't save stuff to the last minute. You have a week to complete it. Just give the videos a quick view at the beginning of the week so you kind of know what to expect, and then you be the judge on when you want to complete stuff. I know a lot of you guys have other classes. Most of you are seniors, you're trying to graduate, so this schedule should allow you the flexibility that you need, given the online learning, being able to make sure that you get the necessary breaks so that you're not just staring at your computer all the time. 2 things on review weeks and exam weeks. There are no activities. There is only one exception to this, and that is when we have a review for exam 3. That's an activity that's supposed to act like a review for you, kind of wrapping up all of the techniques that we've worked on pretty much from week 9 through week 14. So I know most of the students basically aced that this last semester, so you just kind of have to do that one. Exam weeks, literally all you have is the exam. You take it on Monday, you're done. Again, the only exception to that is exam 3. Reason being is I like to give you guys feedback on your activities, and I think those are super helpful for when you take the exam. And given that usually your activities are going to be due on Monday, this little spacing gives me the opportunity to correct your activities before you take the last exam, at least give you feedback on this last review activity, since that's like the big point winner. Okay, your final exam, since this is technically supposed to be a synchronous/asynchronous-ish class, I think your guys' actual final exam date is Monday, May 10th, which is the first day of finals week. However, because I'm giving you an exam the Wednesday before, I'd like to give you at least a week to prepare for the final if you are planning on taking the final. So usually I'll have your tests graded by the very next day. After this 3rd exam, you'll have your final grade for the class, and then if you need to talk to me to figure out what you need to get on the final to pass or to bump up another grade, that's kind of what that week period is for. So the final exam will be opened up on May 11th at 8 a.m. and it will close Wednesday the 12th at 11:59. Each exam you have 3 hours to complete the exam. Any questions that are answered after the due time will not be graded. Okay. So I have some little side notes at the bottom if you decided to skip through a bunch of stuff. Hopefully this video was helpful in understanding what the course expectations are.